Good morning. I'm still wearing the good old helmet from BBE. This video, I'm going to touch on a few things that happened the other night when Dawn and I traveled over to Brandon for the dog and pony show of Manitoba Hydro, in which they explained how far we are in the hole with that Crown Corporation and what they're planning on still doing, which is going ahead, full bore ahead, pissing away more money. Even though we don't need those dams up there, they're going to keep doing it and plunging every Manitoban so far in the hole we'll never see the light of day. Anyway, Don and I got there pretty early, and we were sitting in the room. There was virtually nobody there. A couple guys, I guess, to my right were there. And my friend, Mr. Bruce Owen, came up to me. I didn't recognize him at first. And he got right in my face, told me who he was, and I said, "Oh, yeah, right, the rat." And I said it loud. And I'm not ashamed of that. That's exactly what he is. When all this mess started happening to us last year in 2015, I approached him to do a story on us because I saw he was supposedly the Manitoba Hydro critic for the Winnipeg Free Press. And I had reservations about him right from the start, and I was proven right because he ended up handing all the information we were telling him to his now boss, Mr. Scott Powell. And in September, I believe it was, he took up employment with Manitoba Hydro under Scott Powell after ratting us out. Now, I don't know what other people call that, but I call it a rat, and I could have used stronger words, believe me, it crossed my mind. However, at that meeting, I asked him, "What do you want? What are you coming to me for?" And he said, "Well, when someone says things about me, I like it to be face to face." So I looked him in the eye and I said, "We're face to face now, rat. What do you want? You don't like me and I don't like you. What do you want?" And again he said, "I just wanted to be face to face." And I said, "Well, do you want to go outside? Is that what you want?" And he said, "No," and he slithered away. So I just thought I'd explain to people. That's why I made that comment on the top of that video that we have posted about my speech at that gathering Wednesday evening. Anyway, there were a lot of people there that were very upset with Manitoba Hydro. And they spoke their mind. They all had their own story to tell. The IBEW business manager, or business agent, told a really good story there. In fact, I started applause for him after he spoke because he made a lot of good points. Manitoba Hydro immediately at that meeting, through Calvin Shepherd, was saying that they had to do tough negotiations with the unions, meaning we're going to go after the little guy to make cuts, to get our ship back in order here. Right away they go to the little guy. And that man stood up and told them that what they need to do is start shaving off useless sacks of shit. He didn't use those words, but I'm going to. Useless sacks of shit inside 360 Portage Avenue. Slugs that are making a couple $100,000 a year leeching off the taxpayers of Manitoba and doing no real job other than plunging the corporation further into the hole. And he was right. We also got to hear stories from the people down south, mostly, that Bipole 3 is going to cut through their farmland that they've owned for generations. And Hydro, including the ministers Stan Struthers and Eric Robinson, have dealt with them heavy-handedly ever since this kiosk Bipole 3 bullshit began. They've expropriated their land. They've physically assaulted ladies that own that land. I met 2 of them at that meeting. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting the way some of these pricks that work for Manitoba Hydro higher up think they have the authority to walk all over people's lives and shit in their mouth as they're stomping them into the mud. And it's goddamn well got to stop. Now, Don and I's story is just one in a pile of them. There was another fella there that was speaking on behalf of his problems that he had with this company, BBE. And it's sickening. And it's happening right here on our soil here in Manitoba. And it's got to be stopped. Now, we got a whole bunch of bullshit at that meeting. All kinds of figures and all this crap that they said is in a financial report from a consultant from Boston, that they've admitted they paid over $4 million for this study from Boston to tell them what the fuck we've been telling them for years. You guys are incompetent. You're idiots. You're plunging the province so far into the hole that we'll never suck slough water again. What part of that don't you get? You walk all over people, you shit on them, you spend money like drunken sailors, and we get substandard idiots running it. Now that has to change, Mr. Shepherd. I'm pretty sure you're going to be seeing this video. All your minions below you are going to be running to you to tell you to watch Inkster. Good. I want you to know we're not happy. None of us that were at that meeting seemed very happy. And most of my people and my friends that are fighting back through social media, none of us are happy. And from what I heard at that meeting on Wednesday night, you're not making us any happier. You seem to be just carrying on business as usual and attacking the little guy at the bottom that does all the work. You're not tackling the real problems. Now, I presented you with some pretty damning information there at that meeting. Gabrielle Bourgette's plot that involved your people, Barry Nazar and Stephen Cunningham. Both are guilty of criminal acts against us. And the company BBE, Gabrielle Bourgette, David McNeil, Glenn Hossack, Scott Campbell, and lots of others are guilty of breaking the Criminal Code of Canada. And they did it under your watch. And you need to do something about it, Mr. Shepherd. And quit dragging us people through the mud with your lawyers and your bullshit hearings and everything else you've forced us into. You need to step up and do the right thing. And you need to accept responsibility for the actions of your staff and your contractors. You have the legal authority to do something as the prime contractor up there. And you also have the liability as CEO to be responsible legally for the actions of your staff. And there's a lot of things that are going on up there that fall under the Criminal Code of Canada. Not just simple little issues that can be solved by shoveling it under the rug or whatever you want to call it. It's got to be dealt with, and it's coming to a head. It's going to be just another one of the things that you're going to have to deal with really quickly in the near future. Because we're not going away. Now, I didn't get a very good feeling when I left Brandon. It just seemed to me like it was just another glossy, yeah, this is what's wrong, this is what's wrong. Well, we're going to try and fix it. But we're going to keep doing what we're doing. In other words, bend over. Here comes more rate increases. And we're going to get rid of the guys that actually do the work down below. That's what I got out of it. And I think that's what a lot of other people did. And I'm telling you right now, that's unacceptable. Now, I asked you a question, Mr. Shepherd. Is that consultation process that's going on at Kiosk right now by D. Carriere and Associates, are you going to do something with that report? Are you going to actually fix things that need to be fixed when it's presented to you? Or is that just another pile of bullshit like the Boston investigation in which you guys are just going to just keep doing what you're doing anyway? We want to know. And we want to know publicly. Kiosk has ruined a lot of people's lives by the actions of the hydro people up there and the contractors that they've hired. Most of them are Americans who like to treat us like we're expendable. And I have a real big fucking problem with that. And so does everyone else. Anyway, in closing, I just want people to know that we have not stopped fighting, and we're going to keep going. And I'll wear this helmet, maybe, when I plow through the concrete walls that you keep throwing in front of me. But we're keeping fighting, that's a promise. To all my friends at Kiosk, again, you're entering into the weekend. Hopefully you're making your time and a half and a double time on Sunday and that hasn't been stolen from you. And keep your heads up. Watch your backs. Look out for your friends. Like I said before, Hydro doesn't have your back. Workplace safety and health sure as fuck doesn't have your back. And we all know what BBE has on you. It ain't your back. Anyway, stay safe, work safe, and someday maybe we'll all get to meet up with each other again and we'll have a beer. Just remember, we're fighting for everybody down here, down south. And you guys stay safe. Miigwech.